Now these are the books that I've just done all kinds of books, and they're pretty much untraditional bindings, often made just with glue stick, and so I don't know archivally where we're going to end up with them. But let me page through some, see if I can show you. All right, so this is a book form that I learned from Heinrich Drescher, who was a really wonderful illustrator and artist. He's self-taught. And his suggestion was to make a big collage, leaving lots of spaces, and then without looking at what you're doing, turn the collage over and cut with a grid effect, equally shaped and sized pieces out of it, and then fold them and glue them together with glue stick, and you've made a book then. And this is the book that's made from that technique. I think I have 2 collages in here. Some have the color in the background and some just white. And then what he does with them is he goes back in and he draws and paints into them and uses them for inspiration. I often just page through them, enjoy them, and use them for my own inspiration, but not to actually make something out of. Sometimes I will scan them and use them in another design. So that's one of the books. And then I made a lot of books that had really interesting illustrations in them. They're mostly jelly prints, so I made them out of those. They're also this same technique of gluing the pages together, but then I'll go back in and write into them. So this was a book that I kind of made up, Prepositions, an abstract commentary on relationships. When I was in elementary school, we had to memorize a whole list of prepositions, and I used to know it about, above, across, after, against, along, among, around, at, before, behind, below. And I thought, oh, how interesting. I mean, I just really loved that list. So I went back and I sort of researched and dug out more to add to the list. And I thought, you know, it's so much about relationship. If you think about it. So that's how I made this book. And this is all jelly prints on the back, in the background. This is not an ideal way to look at all these books, but you get the idea. Preposition, a word governing and usually preceding a noun or pronoun and expressing a relation to another word or element in the clause. There you go. Here's another book that's very close to my heart. This is the one that I wrote, Unconditional Positive Regard, which is a therapeutic term. I forget the therapist who came up with it, really wonderful therapist. Anyway, I did one of those collage books, and interspersed with it, I had a big page with my piece of writing about parenting. And parenting a child who had a lot of attachment challenges. So it's just fragments, but somehow it's all there, pieced together with these other fragments of life. More with the maps. Love the maps. And I'm a calligrapher too, so it's, you know, that writing has a real calligraphic bent to it. Let's see. This is another book that I put together. Say Their Names. This is an incomplete list of the names of people of color who died in the hands of usually law enforcement. And I just was really moved by the number and the existence of this list, which is an incomplete list. It continues to be added to. And it was taken from a website, sayevery.name. Incomplete. It's more to be added. Another little book with words that were very meaningful for me. This is a piece that was written by Joe Huey, and was on the website for the Alzheimer's Association. My husband got dementia. I really used them as a resource, and this was a real game changer for me. That's what they said. Always agree, never argue. Always redirect, never reason. Distract, never shame. Reassure, never lecture. Reminisce, never say remember. Repeat, never say I already told you. Say do what you can, never say you can't. Encourage and celebrate, never condescend. Reinforce, never force. And that's it. And then I have a series of books that are purely collage. So just collaged pages. Also untraditional construction on the book. As you can see, most of this was created during the pandemic, which I came to find to be a really wonderful time in my life, because so many distractions were eliminated, and I had time every day to be in the studio. Pulling things out off that shelf, but this is for anybody. This is a Concertina book. So this is made from one page, folded and bound. Another single page. This is a large watercolor sheet. And the challenge was to just do circles using any kind of material, or printing, painting, drawing, stamping. And it's a concertina too. Construction. Let me see, next. Yeah, when I first started doing this jelly printing, I had so many prints. I thought, what am I going to do with them? And this was one of the early books that I made. It's a concertina. You can look it up. There are a lot of constructions for making concertina books, but it's basically taking a single sheet and folding it so that it creates a book. Let me see one more thing here. This is another one of these concertinas. This was made from a book with, the other one was with plant material. This one is more with some image transfer and just a lot of mishmash. But you can see the images sort of peeking through. Sometimes making the concertina, the images will end up upside down. Sometimes they're words. Let's see what else. Okay, now this is one of my very favorites. This is a piece by Rumi called The Guest House. The Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each visitor honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. So, as you can see, there are more books on the shelf. Maybe I'll make another video of that.